over 8,000 general practices in Australia with around 43,000 GPs. 1/4 of these GPs own all or part of their practice. What compels these doctors to take the big leap into entrepreneurship, and how easy or difficult is it? I'm Dr. Bronwyn King. 12 years ago, I had my own dramatic shift in career direction. As a full-time practicing radiation oncologist, I saw firsthand the terrible impact of tobacco on my patients. By complete chance, I discovered that my superannuation fund was investing my money in big tobacco. I couldn't let it stand. Today, I'm the founder and CEO of a not-for-profit organisation that works with banks, insurers and super funds to help bring an end to tobacco. I understand how daunting and exciting it can be, weighing up the risks and rewards of a life-changing career leap. So today, I'm going to take you with me on a journey to meet the experts in practice setup, in property, interior design, finance, technology, and where our journey begins, with the highly successful yet humble GP, Dr. Floyd Gomes. Dr. Gomes made his transition to practice ownership about 12 years ago when he fell in love with an old boat shed cafe by the Patterson River. He bought it for his first practice and hasn't looked back, opening 8 subsequent practices, founding a medical supplies company, developing a telehealth app, and starting a not-for-profit helping vulnerable Australians. Here we are at your amazing new practice, right in the middle of Melbourne. We're right beside Hardware Lane. Behind you, I can just see the Melbourne Central Dome.
Well, I wanted to really be a heart to Melbourne in a medical sense. We see so many different patients here, and we've got an opportunity to really be a resource, and I wanted to develop in that fashion.
So I can see your tagline here, driven by soul. I absolutely love it. How did you come up with that?
Oh, well, it really came to me in a flash, but I think it encapsulates why I got into all of this, to sort of connect with people and put my heart into something.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Well, here we are in your 9th practice, but can you take me right back to the start and tell me, why did you decide to open your first practice?
Well, look, I was in the hospital system and I was doing surgery at the time, and when I decided to pull out of that, I always thought I'd just open a clinic, essentially just letting the public in and seeing them. It was a simple proposition, and I was willing to have a go.
It still must have been a bit nerve-wracking. How did it feel at that moment when you opened your first practice?
The main thing about opening my first practice was to learn to try to come to a deadline and meet it. And you quickly learn not to let perfection stop better. Well, I did anyway, and I just enjoyed pushing myself in that respect and trying to do things that were in my mind and manifesting them in the real world.
And opening all these businesses, it involves a lot of risk and a lot of challenges. How have you faced into those?
Like any athlete, like any business person, you take risk, but that non-attachment to the outcome and balancing that with a focus on a process is a very fragile thing, but it really borrows strongly from philosophical concepts. So the point of all of this is, prior to being into business, I think I was always very philosophical. And the merger and the marriage of those two things, being in business, absorbing risk, being non-attached, still getting to a result, nevertheless, and being accountable, all of these things intrigued me, so I enjoyed it.
And have you ever had any sort of formal business training or a special mentor that has helped take you on that entrepreneurial journey?
Yeah, look, I've met a pharmacist, and pharmacists are very clever people. And he's got many practices on the eastern seaboard of Australia. I think maybe he's over 100 now. And so I see him sometimes, and I've learnt a lot from him, not deliberately thinking of him as a mentor, but just knowing him has given me a great reflection along the way.
And tell me about the journey in terms of the people that have helped you sort of shape that path that you've ultimately taken.
One thing I did learn is you need to find the right people because you don't make them great. You can have 10 meetings, 20 meetings, 100 meetings with someone and you won't change them. Their character is forged by the time you meet them. So when you meet great characters, you want to work with them. And if you do that, you don't need to manage much at all. Their character manages everything else. If you give them the freedom to do what they naturally do, which is something great, that's all there is. The only thing you can do accidentally is demotivate them. So as long as you're not demotivating them, you don't have to motivate them.
Oh, I love that sentiment. And I know that for you, positive impact is a real driver. Can you tell me a little bit about how your choices in business have helped shape your impact on the world?
Being in business needs to be an extension of yourself. And if you're not doing that, you'll have some sort of crisis in the background. For me, the things that are important to me are the environment, social causes, and these things we manifest as by being part of the B Corp movement. And I thought that it is great to try to bring that in and represent something along the way. And it's actually, again, another level of challenge trying to meet that triple bottom line of being financially viable, representing something positive in a social sense, as well as trying your best to promote environmental causes along the way. I think it's always a bit sad when you do something for 25 years and have an epiphany that I've now decided the environment matters, although for 25 years I didn't, and I didn't want to be like that. So from the ground up, trying to incorporate that stuff is important.
You know, I'm definitely a kindred spirit when it comes to B Corp. I think that's fantastic. What other advice have you got for young doctors out there who are thinking, you know what, I want to be like him. I would love a career where I also sort of take that leap into the world of private practice.
But you need to make so many decisions along the way, and in making those decisions you learn an awful lot. So if you want to learn a lot about yourself, about life, about all your own biases and challenge those, then you should be in business, because you don't get that from standing on the sidelines and thinking about it. You get that from doing it.
Well, thank you so much for sharing some of your insights and experiences today, and we absolutely can't wait to see what's next.
Thank you, Bronwyn. It's been a pleasure.
In our next episode, we'll find out the secrets of masterful location and property selection, plus we'll uncover where the practice aesthetic can impact patient experience.